Hey everyone! In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys my custom settings for Complementary Unbound shaders. If you like your shaders to be a little bit more vibrant and colorful, these might be the perfect settings for you. Now, out of the box on their default settings, this is what Complementary Unbound shaders look like. And while it's not the worst thing I've ever seen, it's a little bit too bright and washed out for me. Now, I've got a couple of side-by-side comparisons of the default settings and my shaders, and as you can see on my starter house and my hardcore world, they are very different. Here's another side-by-side of my hardcore world iron farm, and as you can see, my settings are way more vibrant. And finally, I also wanted to include a little shot of the water here because not only is the shoreline so much more vibrant, but the water itself in underwater just feels so much better to me. Now, if you've never edited your shaders before, this is how you get to them. So you're going to start in your escape menu and then you're going to hit options. After you hit options, you're going to hit video settings and then you're going to hit shader packs. Now down in the right side, there is shader pack settings, and that's what you're going to click to get to this shader editing menu. Now I'm going to take you guys through every single different page that I have edited and changed. So we're going to go ahead and start with our performance settings page first. As you can see, if you have the default settings on, these are very, very different from default. So going through here, my real-time shadows, I switched to very high. Light shaft quality is high, but that's because I turned it up to high. You don't actually have to turn this up because we're going to turn light shafts off. My detail quality is high. Water reflection quality I left on medium. The advanced colored lighting I turned up to 12 chunks, but you can probably turn this down or turn it off if you don't have a powerful computer because it will affect your performance. And on this side, I turned my shadow distance to 16 chunks and my cloud quality I turned to high. And then there is the block reflection quality right below that. And I have this turned off because I do not like when the sun reflects off of the leaves and stuff. I think it looks really weird. And then texture filtering I set to 8x. Back on the main menu, let's go to lighting, and I haven't changed that much in the lighting area except for one setting under cave lighting. This is an optional setting, but I turned it to extreme bright for my videos because I make videos for YouTube and the compression on YouTube gets really, really dark, especially when you're in the caves. And all this setting does is automatically adjust the brightness of your screen while the shaders are on when you're going into darker spaces. And again, this is optional, so you do not have to turn this on if you don't want to, or you could put it to a lower setting, but I have it on extreme bright. Back on the main menu again, it is time to go into the materials tab, and here there are a couple things that we're gonna have to change, starting with water. Starting with water style, I have mine set to unbound, but you could also have it set to default if you have your visual style in the main menu set to unbound. I've turned down my water foam intensity to completely 0 because I don't like that little edge that the water gets when it's on, and my water opacity I have turned up to 260. The other settings, except for the water surface and underwater color, I have ignored, so going into water surface first, I have upped my blue multiplier on the water surface to 170. And then heading back and going to underwater color, I have changed the blue multiplier here to 130. Back out at the main materials screen, we're going to go into the integrated PBR Plus materials page next. And there are a lot of options here that I have not messed with, but first we're going to go into glowing stuff and we're going to turn on the glowing armor trim. I think that this is actually such a great feature. It's kind of underrated and it makes your armor trims just glow. Pretty cool. And then back out, we're going to go to glowing ores, and I have left all of my glowing ores on except for one, which is the glowing ancient debris. I have turned that one off because it's a little bit too much for me. But I do really like all of the other glowing ores, so I have left all of those ones on. Now going back to the main menu, the next thing we're going to do is go to camera. And within camera, I have changed a lot of things. So first off, we're going to turn off bloom and vignette. I hope I'm saying that right. I never know for sure. As mentioned earlier, I turn off lens flare, and then the final setting on this page that I change is this distant light bokeh. Next, we're going to go into color balance, and for our color balance, we're going to change a lot of things, and the first of which is going to be our general brightness, which we're going to turn down to 0.85. Turn your contrast of brighter colors to 1.4, and we're going to do the contrast of darker colors to 1.0. And then we can go ahead and edit our saturations, and our saturation is up to 1.5 and our saturation of paler colors to 1.4. Back to the main menu once again, we're going to go into atmosphere. And within this tab, I'm going to go ahead and set my Aurora Borealis style to unbound. And I also changed my Aurora to be every single night. You can go through and change this to like full moon or snowy only, or only the full moon in a snowy biome, but I personally like it to be in every biome every night. And the last thing I do on this main page is change the night star amount to high. And then we're going to go into sun and moon. Now I have my sun and moon style set to unbound, and then the only other thing I changed here is actually the sun moon angle, but I only do that for like thumbnails, screenshot type stuff, so you guys don't actually have to switch that if you don't want to. All this is going to do is change where the sun's coming from, so the angle of your light and shadows is going to be different depending on where you set that angle to. Back on the atmosphere main page, we're going to go to clouds next, and I changed my cloud style to unbound, and I raised my altitude to 216. This might not be necessary for you in your world, but I live in the mountains in my hardcore world, so I want my clouds to be a little bit higher so that they're not looking like super weird next to my house. That's it for clouds, so let's go back to the atmosphere page and go to fog, and in here I turn off both border fog and cave fog because I'm not a huge fan of fog at all. The exception is the atmospheric fog, which I turn down to subtle. That way it's a little bit on the edges but not too much. Now there's one category we haven't really looked at, and I don't really change anything in this category. Like there's a lot of different options here for like different selection outlines and stuff. I don't use any of those for video recording, so I just leave those alone, and yeah, when I'm done it looks like this. Now I do also want to give a disclaimer at this point that I also record with a mod called Gamma Utils, which helps me adjust the brightness and stuff like that of the game, so it makes it way brighter if you guys are finding your shaders are still a little bit dark. But I hope this video was helpful for you guys in adjusting your shaders to be aesthetic and vibrant and everything that you want them to be. Thanks so much for watching this video, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye!